Have you ever felt an unsettling presence lurking in the background of your relationships, like a dark cloud that refuses to lift? It's not just a bad vibe, it could be the subtle whisper of demonic influence. In the Bible, we see Judas, a close companion to Jesus who seemed trustworthy on the outside but betrayed him when the time came. Even King Saul, once anointed by God, became a shell of himself under the grip of dark forces, spiraling into madness. These biblical figures weren't just victims of their circumstances, they were under the influence of unseen, malevolent forces that changed their behavior, intentions, and the very core of who they were. So how do you spot the Judas in your life? How do you see through the facade and recognize the demons that may be influencing those around you? Let's dive deep into the subtle, yet powerful signs of demonic presence in friends and family, before it's too late. Negative entities, whether we call them demons, dark energies, or malevolent forces, have the power to influence our environment in ways that are often subtle, but deeply impactful. These energies can infiltrate a space, creating an atmosphere of unease, tension, and conflict. Much like the story of the fallen angels in the Bible, these entities seek to disrupt harmony and peace, sowing discord wherever they can. They don't always announce their presence with loud, overt actions. Instead, they work in the shadows, manipulating thoughts, emotions, and even physical environments to create chaos. One of the most troubling aspects of negative entities is their ability to seep into the hearts and minds of those around you, subtly altering their behaviors. People might become more irritable, anxious, or even aggressive for no apparent reason, driven by influences they can't even explain. The energy of these entities can spread from one individual to another, infecting entire households or communities. When negative energy takes hold, it doesn't just affect the people involved, it disturbs the peace of the entire environment. Homes, workplaces, or social circles can feel heavy, as if the air itself is thick with discomfort. Understanding this power helps us recognize when something is off and take steps to protect our peace of mind from these unseen forces. Inconsistent energy flow is one of the most subtle yet powerful indicators of unseen forces, like demonic influence, affecting someone around you. Imagine walking into a room where everything feels fine, but suddenly there's a shift in the atmosphere, ebbs in the air, overwhelming sense, and a sudden drop in the mood. This fluctuation in energy is often a sign that something darker may be at play. People under the influence of negative entities may unknowingly carry these energy shifts with them. You might notice that the energy around them changes without warning. One moment they're warm and inviting, and the next they're distant, cold, or even hostile. This erratic behavior is not just a mood swing. It's often the presence of an unseen force manipulating their energy field. In biblical stories, we see how energy flow shifts dramatically when people are under dark influence. King Saul, for example, experienced a sudden spiritual shift where the Holy Spirit departed and a tormenting spirit took its place. He went from a confident leader to a paranoid, rage-filled king. Recognizing inconsistent energy flow around you or loved ones may be an early warning to protect your peace and remain vigilant. Demonic influence is rarely immediate or overt. It typically begins with small, almost imperceptible shifts in a person's behavior, attitude, or mood that gradually become more pronounced over time. At first, it might seem like just a passing phase or a normal mood swing. Maybe a normally compassionate person becomes irritable or distant, or someone who was once calm becomes easily agitated. These subtle shifts, though small, are the first signs that something external is quietly taking hold. As the influence grows, these changes can become more consistent and disruptive. You might notice a loved one reacting negatively to situations that once didn't bother them, or exhibiting a level of cynicism or hostility that feels out of character. In some cases, people under demonic influence may become more withdrawn, cutting themselves off from others, or begin to display a bitterness that wasn't there before. These changes may appear gradual, making them difficult to recognize until they become obvious. Demonic forces often target areas of vulnerability in a person's character, using these subtle shifts to slowly warp their sense of self and relationships. Recognizing these changes early allows you to address the underlying issue before it takes a firmer hold, helping to protect both yourself and your loved ones from darker influences. Demonic influence often works through individuals who appear to be charming, charismatic, and trustworthy. This is one of the most insidious tactics demons use to manipulate and control others by hiding their true intentions behind a facade of likability. Think of figures in history and the Bible like Lucifer, who once an angel of light, used as beauty and charisma to deceive even the most faithful. This charm becomes a powerful weapon in gaining trust and influence over those around them. The charismatic manipulator is skilled at creating a false sense of security, making it easy for others to lower their defenses. They know how to present themselves as reliable, caring, and supportive, all while secretly working to destabilize and control their environment. Their charm disarms you, making it almost impossible to see their harmful intent until it's too late. People drawn into their orbit may feel flattered by the attention, believing they are special and valued, unaware that they are slowly being manipulated for darker purposes. Recognizing a charismatic manipulator involves looking beyond their charm. Pay attention to their actions, not just their words. Are they consistent? Do their promises match their behavior? The ability to see through the illusion is crucial in omitting the motivated individual from the individual of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Have you ever felt a sudden wave of anxiety or restlessness without any clear cause? It's as if something unseen is gnawing at you, making it hard to focus or feel at peace. This could be an indication of external negative energy, possibly even demonic influence. Anxiety is often a manifestation of a disturbance in your environment, whether it's from people, places, or unseen forces. When a demonic presence is near, it may cause an unsettling feeling that disrupts your mental state, making you feel anxious, fearful, or out of control. In many biblical accounts, spiritual unrest is often linked to unseen malevolent forces. King Saul, for example, experienced bouts of anxiety and torment, believed to be the result of demonic influence after he was rejected by God. Similarly, when you feel inexplicably anxious or fearful, it might not just be stress or worry, it could be an indication that negative energies are affecting you. This unexplained anxiety can manifest in many ways, from a sense of dread that lingers in your mind to a persistent nervousness that interferes with your daily life. Trusting your instincts and identifying these feelings as potential signs of external disturbances can be the first step in protecting yourself. Grounding techniques, prayer, and creating a peaceful environment can help restore balance and counteract the anxiety caused by such forces. One of the most noticeable effects of demonic influence is the shift from harmony to discord in relationships. Relationships that were once loving, balanced, and supportive may suddenly turn into battlegrounds, filled with constant power struggles, manipulation, and emotional turmoil. This shift often occurs gradually, making it difficult to pinpoint the exact moment when things started to go awry. It could start with small disagreements that escalate or recurring tension that wasn't there before. Demonic forces thrive on division, chaos, and discord. When they infiltrate relationships, they exploit vulnerabilities, sowing seeds of mistrust, anger, and resentment. Partners, family members, or close friends may begin to feel as if they're constantly at odds, even over trivial matters. The balance of give and take is disturbed, and the relationship becomes marked by an unhealthy need for control, often driven by one party's manipulative tactics. In these situations, one person may dominate the relationship, seeking power and control while undermining the other. This dynamic can create confusion and emotional exhaustion. Over time, it becomes evident that external negative influences are at play, aiming to fracture the bond between individuals. Recognizing this shift early allows you to address the root cause of the struggle, whether it's spiritual, emotional, or psychological, and work to restore balance and harmony in the relationship. Guilt is one of the most insidious tactics used by negative influences, including demonic entities, to control behavior and create dependency. When someone close to you uses guilt, they manipulate your emotions to make you feel responsible for their discomfort, unhappiness, or failures. This tactic slowly erodes your sense of autonomy, replacing it with a constant need to appease or satisfy the person responsible for your guilt. Much like the story of Cain and Abel, where Cain's jealousy led to the first murder, negative forces often feed on emotions like guilt to drive a wedge between people and their support systems. Demonic influence may manifest through guilt in ways that seem innocent at first. Comments like "you never spend enough time with me," or "you don't care about me the way you used to." These subtle statements plant seeds of doubt in your mind and encourage you to withdraw from healthy relationships. The person using guilt often tries to isolate you, so you become dependent on them for validation and approval. Over time, you may find yourself walking on eggshells, constantly second-guessing your choices and distancing yourself from people who support and care for you. Recognizing guilt as a control tactic is essential to breaking free from its grasp. Emotional exhaustion isn't just a result of a hectic schedule or stress from work. can be the consequence of being drained by the energy of others, especially those under negative or demonic influence. People who carry dark energy can unknowingly siphon your emotional reserves, leaving you feeling drained, empty, or on the verge of collapse. Emotional exhaustion happens when someone's unresolved negativity or manipulative behavior overwhelms your own emotional capacity to cope. It's like trying to keep your head above water while someone continuously adds weight to your shoulders. The Bible tells us that bad company corrupts good character, 1 Corinthians 15:33, and this rings true when it comes to emotional well-being. If you find yourself constantly in a state of heightened anxiety, sadness, or confusion after spending time with a particular person, it might be a sign that they are influencing you in ways that go beyond normal interactions. This can manifest in physical symptoms such as chronic fatigue, difficulty sleeping, and a general sense of being mentally and emotionally zapped. These draining individuals may not even realize they're doing it, but their unresolved negative energy impacts everyone around them. Recognizing this and creating distance, both physically and emotionally, is key to protecting yourself from emotional exhaustion. If your relationships are perpetually filled with drama and conflict, it may not just be poor communication or personality differences. These constant disruptions could be the result of demonic influence. Demons thrive in chaos and disorder, manipulating individuals to create discord, tension, and instability in their surroundings. In biblical times, we see stories of families torn apart by jealousy, anger, and betrayal. The conflict between Cain and Abel escalated into murder, not because of a natural dispute, but because negative forces fanned the flames of jealousy and resentment. Demonic interference often encourages individuals to act out of frustration, pride, and bitterness, fostering unhealthy power struggles. A constant cycle of drama keeps people on edge, unable to find peace or resolution. If you notice that no matter what you do, conflicts always seem to escalate with certain people, it might be worth considering whether there's an unseen force at play. These destructive energies can turn minor disagreements into full-blown confrontations, pushing loved ones further apart. By identifying the patterns of conflict and taking proactive steps to address them, such as seeking spiritual guidance, distancing yourself from toxic individuals, or setting firm boundaries, you can begin to break free from this cycle of negativity. Your body is often the first to detect an unseen presence or disturbance, especially when demonic influence is at play. Subtle changes in your physical state, such as unexplained fatigue, heaviness, or discomfort, are not always the result of physical illness or stress. Sometimes they can be the manifestation of dark energies at work. The Bible speaks of the spirit being willing, but the flesh being weak, Matthew 26:41, which can be understood as a warning to pay attention to how your spirit and body react in certain situations. When you feel unusually drained after interacting with a specific person or spending time in a particular place, it may be your body's way of signaling that something isn't right. Physical sensations like pressure in your chest, a sudden feeling of heaviness, or an inexplicable headache could indicate that you're being affected by a negative presence. In some cases, people might experience a cold sensation or a sudden drop in temperature when demonic energy is near. These physical signs are often difficult to explain medically, yet they can provide crucial insight into the nature of the influence surrounding you. By paying close attention to your body's response, you can gain valuable information about the hidden forces that might be impacting your life and take steps to protect your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. When someone's words and actions don't align, it's often a sign of manipulation, deception, or even darker influences at play. In the Bible, we see the example of the Pharisees, those who spoke of righteousness, but did not practice what they preached. Jesus himself called them out for their hypocrisy, highlighting the difference between their public persona and private actions. This dissonance can be a subtle yet powerful indicator of demonic influence. Negative entities often manipulate individuals to present one image, while their true intentions and actions are completely different. This kind of behavior creates confusion and distrust in relationships. The person may make promises or show affection, but their actions will consistently betray their words. The disparity between what is said and what is done can erode your trust and cause inner conflict, leaving you questioning whether they truly care or if there's an unseen force at work. If you find yourself in a relationship where actions consistently don't match words, especially when accompanied by feelings of unease or discomfort, it might be time to pay closer attention. This dissonance is not just a personality flaw, it could be an indication that darker energies are influencing their behavior. Toxic cycles in relationships are repetitive, draining, and often hard to break free from. These cycles feed off negative energy and can trap you in a never-ending loop of conflict, guilt, and emotional turmoil. In biblical terms, we can see this clearly in the story of Samson and Delilah. Samson, despite his immense strength, fell into a repetitive cycle of betrayal and vulnerability through his relationship with Delilah. This cycle of betrayal ultimately led to his downfall when he revealed the secret of his strength. Similarly, in toxic relationships, negative influences often keep individuals stuck in patterns that hinder personal growth, emotional health, and spiritual well-being. These cycles are not just accidental. They are perpetuated by external, demonic energies that thrive on conflict and negativity. Every time you try to escape or heal, the cycle pulls you back, causing feelings of hopelessness and despair. This trapping mechanism makes it hard to break free from unhealthy relationships or environments. You may feel like no matter what you do, things always return to a point of tension and conflict. Recognizing these cycles for what they are is the first step to breaking free. The presence of such cycles could be the influence of dark energies manipulating both parties to maintain the dysfunction. Chronic health issues that persist without clear medical explanations can sometimes signal spiritual or demonic interference. The Bible makes several references to physical ailments being linked to spiritual battles. For example, in the case of the woman with the spirit of infirmity in Luke 13:11-13, Jesus healed her after she had been suffering from a debilitating condition for 18 years, which identified as a spiritual cause. Health problems that don't respond to typical treatments or whose cause can't be pinpointed by medical professionals might have a deeper spiritual origin. These issues may manifest as unexplained fatigue, persistent pain, digestive issues, or feelings of heaviness in the body. In the case of spiritual or demonic attacks, these physical ailments are often accompanied by a general sense of being drained, as if one's energy is being siphoned away. It's crucial to pay attention to how certain energies and people affect your health. If a particular relationship or environment triggers or exacerbates health issues, it may indicate that dark energies are involved. Addressing these problems requires a holistic approach, seeking both medical treatment and spiritual healing to cleanse the body and soul from harmful influences. A sudden absence of empathy or compassion in a person's behavior can be a glaring sign of negative, even demonic influence. In the Bible, the Pharisees are again a powerful example. They outwardly adhered to the law but lacked compassion for those in need, showing no mercy to the poor, the sick, or the marginalized. Jesus challenged them for their lack of love and empathy, calling them whitewashed tombs, Matthew 27, highlighting their exterior piety that masked their inner spiritual decay. When demonic forces influence a person, one of the first signs is a noticeable change in their ability to care for others. A person who once showed kindness, generosity, and understanding may suddenly become cold, judgmental, or indifferent. They may even derive satisfaction from the suffering of others. This shift is often subtle, but over time can escalate into harmful behaviors that damage relationships and cause emotional wounds. It's important to watch for this change, especially in people close to you. The lack of empathy isn't just a personality flaw. It's a sign that something deeper is at work, affecting the person's ability to connect with the divine and human compassion. The key is to confront these shifts with compassion and vigilance, ensuring you protect yourself from being negatively affected by their energy. Strengthening your spiritual boundaries is a crucial step in protecting yourself from negative influences, including demonic forces. In the Bible, God repeatedly instructs his people to guard their hearts and minds, and to set boundaries that keep them from falling into temptation or spiritual decay. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." This is a reminder that spiritual protection is vital for maintaining peace and clarity. One of the most effective ways to strengthen your spiritual boundaries is through grounding practices. Grounding connects you to the earth and helps you stay centered in your own energy, protecting you from external negative forces. Prayer and meditation are also powerful tools for spiritual defense. By regularly communing with God or your higher power, you create a shield around your energy field, which helps to keep demonic or harmful influences at bay. Additionally, daily spiritual practices such as reading scripture, engaging in acts of kindness, and setting positive intentions reinforce your boundaries. When you intentionally focus on your own spiritual health, you make it harder for negative forces to break through and manipulate you. Spiritual protection also involves knowing when to distance yourself from toxic relationships or environments, ensuring that your energy remains aligned with positivity and divine protection. In conclusion, the power of negative entities and their subtle influence on our lives is something that should not be underestimated. Whether it's through sudden shifts in energy, emotional exhaustion, or manipulative behaviors that seem out of character, these dark forces can slowly erode your peace of mind, relationships, and even your health. As we've discussed, these entities often work in the shadows, using tactics like guilt, anxiety, and power struggles to create chaos and keep you trapped in toxic cycles. But understanding the signs, whether it's dissonance between words and actions or unexplained health issues, can empower you to protect your energy and well-being. The key is awareness. By tuning into the subtle shifts around you and recognizing when demonic forces are at play, you can strengthen your spiritual boundaries and take steps to regain control. Practices like grounding, prayer, and spiritual reflection are powerful tools in creating a shield against negative influences. Don't be afraid to distance yourself from toxic environments or individuals who drain your energy. Remember, your peace of mind and emotional health are sacred. Protect them and take action when necessary. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content on how to safeguard yourself from negative energies. Amen.